Hey, welcome back to my channel, guys. Today is exciting. I am going to give you a little bit behind the scenes of how I help people move to New Zealand. I don't think I've ever done a video on this, and so many people are like, oh, I didn't even know that you did this. Okay, so here we go. If you don't know me, I'm Tara. I moved my family of 6 from the US to New Zealand back in 2013. And since 2021, I've helped hundreds of other families do the same. Now, you don't have to be American to be in my community and for me to help you. But I am here to explain the whole process to you. And if you're thinking about a move to New Zealand, this is the video for you. And I would watch it all the way through because there are a lot of mistakes that people make when thinking about moving to New Zealand. So today I'm going to go through the optimal process for you to get your family to New Zealand this year. Okay, so the first step to see if you and your family can move to New Zealand is, are you eligible? I cannot tell you how many families that I have worked with that literally sold their house, sold their stuff, moving in with their parents, and now they're like, hey, now you got to get me to New Zealand. Like, okay, that's not how it works, and that should not be your first step, okay? Your first step is to see if you're eligible. And eligibility comes with a lot more than figuring out if you can get a job and if you can get a visa. There are health constraints in New Zealand. There are criminal background checks. There are you a real family checks. There's FBI fingerprints. There's a lot to it, okay? So it's more than just getting a visa and a job or thinking that somebody can sponsor you. Everything is different now. New Zealand immigration changed about 1.5 years ago, and there's just a lot of pathways and they can be very confusing. But your first step, number one, is to check out if you're eligible. Now, the best way to do that is to jump on my website, kiwiamericans.com, and there's an eligibility quiz. If you fill that out, it will send you to the next steps of the webinar on how to move to New Zealand if you're eligible. And that is a great place to start. You can also email me. You just need to figure out, number one, if you're eligible. Okay, step 2. So once we figure out if you're eligible, that's not quite enough. That kind of gets like the overview, but now we got to get in depth on what your skills are, what your health status is, do you speak English? There's a lot of other things that come into play. And so the second step is we need to do a visa assessment. We need to figure out what visas you actually qualify for. And most people will qualify for more than one. Some people will only qualify for one, but a lot depending on how many degrees you have, your experience. If your experience is on the green list, it's actually quite complicated and the pathways are not clear. When I first moved to New Zealand, it was like 3 pathways to get to New Zealand. And if you didn't fit that, then too bad, so sad. So the good news is there's a lot more pathways. The bad news is they're a lot more complicated. And so what I've done is I've partnered with Working In, one of the best, in my opinion, the best, immigration consulting companies that I work with, and they are so good. They're basically like me, just an extension of me, but can manage your visa and your job. And so the next step that I have my clients go through is doing a visa assessment with them. Now, if you are in my community, so if you don't know, I run a community of people like you that are moving or thinking about moving to New Zealand. It's not expensive. It's $39 a month. I offer a 7-day free trial if you just want to jump in and check it out. And basically, I've created it in a community format because moving to New Zealand, a lot of people think is a linear process, and it's not. It's actually like all these things going on at one time, okay? And so if you can't get your questions answered about a lot of things, then moving to New Zealand maybe just be off the table for you. I've had clients that if they can't move their pets, it's out. If they can't move their parents, they're out. And so there's a lot to come in place. So you have a lot of questions all at once that you need to get figured out. Definitely the first question is eligibility. Definitely the second question is if you can even get a visa, because you can want to move there and you want to do all these things, but if you can't actually get a visa, that doesn't matter, okay? So those are kind of the 2 most important ones. And so when you come to my community, there's training videos on everything that you need to do. You get discounts with all of my partners. It's an amazing place to get those kind of discounts and get you connected with everybody. But also you get a group of people that are on the same journey as you. And it's a place where you can ask all your questions. When you wake up at 3 a.m. and I don't know if I want to do something, you can talk to people and we can have a chat. Now, a lot of people get oh, I don't want to talk to other people. I don't want to be in a community. And you can just be a fly in the background if you want. You can just DM me privately if you want, if you don't want to. I don't have any rules in my community as expectations that you have to share, that you have to do anything. You can just be there and just learn if that's more your vibe. It's totally fine. We don't have any rules in the community, and you can cancel anytime. On average, I would say people stay in about 6 months into my community, and then sometimes they pause it and come back. It doesn't matter. It's only there if it's helpful to you. I am not trying to sell you on anything that you need longer than you actually need it, okay? So the community is great. So once you get in the community, then you're gonna book a visa assessment with my immigration partner working in that I just mentioned before. And they are gonna get you set up, and you're gonna figure out, you're gonna get an actual assessment that says, these are the visas that you qualify for and that meet your goals. Because there's more than just because you can get there, does this serve your goals? Are you going to be able to have healthcare? Are you going to be able to send your kids to school? There's a lot involved. So you get your visa assessment, they'll know which visas that you qualify for, and that is your second step. Okay, now the third step that you need to do is you need to find a job. So once you have your visa assessment, they will say, hey, this person qualifies for a visa. They will give you a letter that says, so-and-so qualifies for a visa contingent on obtaining a job with an accredited employer. You have to get a job with an accredited employer unless you're doing the investor visa, which is another option. So once you get that letter, then you apply for jobs. So many of my clients will be applying for jobs way before then, and that is not a good idea, guys. New Zealand is not a big place. And if you apply for jobs, a lot of times they won't let you reapply. And you have not put your best foot forward if you don't have this letter saying, hey, this person can get a visa. Because think about the employer's perspective. If you are hiring somebody abroad, but you don't even know if they can get a visa, you're just throwing their CV in the trash. I'm telling you, this is what's happening, okay? So get the letter, apply to the jobs that you want, and in the meantime, you're going to do all the training videos in my community. You're going to meet with the working in relocation specialist. He's amazing, and we'll set you up on answering anything and every question, from financial to taxes to where do I get a house, how do I get a car, and all the resources involved in that. I also have a lot of those in my community, but we're partners and we work with everybody. There's amazing things that you could have. In fact, in my recent Q&As, I've had somebody come in that could find rentals for you and have you all set before you arrive. I've had a company that can put all of your new furniture in your rental, buy it for you, fix it up. You can get off the plane and be sorted. I've had another company that can help you rewrite your CVs to be Kiwified. There's so many resources in the community. You're not going to want to miss that, okay? And so then you're starting your job hunt, and the job hunt can last, a bit of time, especially if you are like a teacher and you have to get certified by the board, or a doctor, and there's different certifications and licenses that you have to do. But what's great about working in is they are one of the biggest immigration partners that I have in New Zealand, and they have departments just for teachers, just for healthcare workers, and we can get sorted. And because they do all of the accrediting to most of the businesses, they have great relationships and can hook you up. And I'm telling you, this is the pathway for your quickest way to get to New Zealand and the easiest, okay? Now, then you can launch your visa application with immigration. And if you use Working In, they're great. And in fact, the benefit of working with an immigration consultant is that when immigration receives your paperwork from somebody that they know that the paperwork is right. And it just makes the process a lot quicker. If you don't work with them and you do it yourself, which you certainly can, then you could be a little bit back and forth, could take a lot longer, but that's totally up to you. But New Zealand immigration is great. You're going to want to get everything correct, but they are generally available for questions, and they're easy to work with as well. And everything is pretty clear on their website. So however you want to do it, that's your next thing. You're going to want to launch your visa, because once you receive your visa, you have about a year to move there. So there isn't oh my gosh, I get my visa and I have to move immediately, like a lot of people panic. So that's your third step, is start your job search. Finding a job when you have qualifications on the green list is going to be the easiest. Tier 1 is going to be the easiest, then tier 2, like that. Then there's points-based systems that, depending on your education level, make it a little bit easier. But all in all, if you're not on any of those categories in your job skills, that doesn't mean that you can't get a job. It just means it's going to be a lot harder and it's going to take longer. Now, there are huge recommendations on how to do that. I'm not going to go into all of that today, but I will put in the comments below my job workshop where I teach you everything you need to know about landing a job. So if that's helpful to you, you can check that out. But that's your third step, is to start looking for a job and hopefully landing a job. Okay, the fourth step, so now you finally have landed a job. Now your visa is going to probably be approved. It's pretty easy at that point. Now your mindset has shifted and you're like, holy crap, I'm actually moving to New Zealand, which is what we went through, because you just never know if it's going to happen for you, and you kind of put it out there, you put some money behind it, and you say, hey, there's worse things I could spend my money on, right? And you just see if there's opportunity for you to move over there. And then once you get that all worked out, now you're like, well, what do I move? Do I sell my house? Where do I get places over there? Where are my kids going to go to school? There's 1,000 things, and that's really where my community comes in to help. I have videos on answering all of those questions for you. You can talk to me. We also, like that relocation partner that I mentioned, very, very helpful in getting you sorted. We will get you sorted, no worries, okay? And then we will start making plans, and you can book tickets, and it can be happening. So many people this year in 2025 have moved to New Zealand, especially Americans, especially in the healthcare industry, IT, engineering, and education. And it's been so fun to watch their journey. So get into the community and read the descriptions, read people's experiences as they land there, or as they're sitting in the airport, or what their first couple of days in Auckland is like. It's just really, really great. Okay, now the final step in moving to New Zealand is literally just doing that, is moving to New Zealand and then setting up your life there, which is then kind of another mental twist with like, okay, now I gotta drive on the left side of the road, and how do I get bank accounts? How do I get government IDs? How do I do all of that? That's all in the community as well. But also we're all here to help, and it's really not that hard. In fact, New Zealand's processes are a lot easier. Everything is just kind of on a piece of paper. You're not filling out these stacks of papers to do anything or to buy anything in New Zealand, and is really great. And we're just here for all of your questions. So that is the best pathway, in my opinion, to get to New Zealand, and the easiest and the cleanest, and the one that's going to get you there. So if you're thinking about a move to New Zealand, I suggest you jump in my community. If you live in the Seattle region, we are doing a live seminar, and it's going to be great, guys, this October. So I'll put the link to that in the description as well. If that's of interest to you, I would love to meet some of you guys face to face. But yeah, so definitely jump into the community, definitely post comments and questions, anything you have. You guys, honestly, I'm just here to help. I created this community because it's what I wish I would have had. I knew nobody, I knew nothing, I was learning everything, and it actually took me 5 or 6 years to really learn a lot. So I think that I'm trying to just make it within a year. You can kind of have everything figured out, which actually really helps. Like you think, what does it really matter? It matters, okay? When you're living somewhere and you don't totally understand why things are happening, or how they're happening, or why people talk like this, or why my work environment is like this. Like I've met Americans over there who burned a lot of bridges because they didn't know the cultural aspect of New Zealand. And so that's what we talk about in the community as well. So I'm so excited for you guys. If you're considering a move, I'm here to help. I hope that you get there. And honestly, just as a last final thought, is that a lot of people are like, well, what if I hate it? What if I sell everything? And I'm saying learning what you don't like is just as important as learning what you do. Okay? So if you go there and you hate it, big deal. You move back. You spent some extra money. You spent money on worse things. Okay? And now you know. Now you're not going to be 90 and wondering, I wish I would have done this, but then I never did. Okay? You're going to actually know. And I've only, in my community of the hundreds of people that I've moved over there, only one has turned back and said, this isn't for me. And in fairness, I told them that before they went. Like I could tell when people, it's not their vibe, okay? And if you wanna meet with me one-on-one, I have those services as well. Just check it out on my website. I am just so excited about the opportunity for you to experience New Zealand like we did.